no, you don't do it.
You usually have, you know, there used to be, I remember I used to attend, and one year I emceed the July 4th parade. It was just all community.
Yes.
And the July 4th parade did have some politicians in it, but they generally walked alone or rode in the car.
Well, there's going to
just
be
a sign
restrictions now. There's going to be restrictions.
The city's got to do something
And
about
do you know
that.
the thing that irritated me more? A, I'm a veteran, and I realize
Yeah,
what Memorial Day is, and I consider it a very important event.
Sure.
And here I am standing with Jim. He had the camera right across from the judging booth, you know, right there on whatever that, Stony Brook.
Yeah.
And behind me, instead of flags, which is what should have been there,
Sure.
were oodles and oodles of political posters for the sheriff who was running for county executive. That was disgraceful.
Absolutely.
Absolutely disgraceful. You'd think this was a political parade and not a Memorial Day parade, you know, commemorating this country's war dead.
Absolutely. I happen to have had the experience
I'm
of
off my
watching.
soapbox.
Well, television was my escape that day to see Memorial Day parade.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I saw some beautiful things. Even soldiers in authentic uniforms from the Revolutionary War.
Well, you didn't see it in our parade.
No, and it was a day of memorial, and I was so disappointed to hear that about Bowie because it just was opportunity seemed to have been more important to them than the reason for it.
That's right.
I begin to wonder, John, if those people that had two dozen motorcycles and all this political stuff overwhelming the parade, I'm just wondering what they were thinking.
They weren't thinking, which indicates to me that they're incapable of coherent thought, which thus manifests itself in a declaration by me that they're not qualified for public office.
Well, it sure made me have second thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Those that were a little, I think, too much. Those that, like Stenny walked down with a couple of aides or so.
Yeah.
That's typically what is done in the community parade. Typically, and they're welcome to do it.
The House Majority Leader versus these characters who are basically non-entities.
Yeah. Well, I heard about it too from someone that attended that came from out of town.
Yeah.
And they said, well, I came because of my relatives living here, but I want to tell you something, guys. He's from Pennsylvania. He said, I'm not even going to the parade again if it's another like this one.
Yeah.
He was a veteran. And, you know, I was just down in Virginia, and I want to make a comment about what the country does for a veteran. My wife's younger brother had funeral, and he had served 3 terms with the 3rd Recon in Vietnam, and they were the most recognized in the medals during that year, which is a terrible thing. But they did a great service for him in the cemetery in Culper, Virginia. They said it was, my family thought I wasn't able to attend, but my family just said it was something special.
Oh, it could be a beautiful ceremony.
And of course.
But have you read the scandal about Arlington?
Yeah, Arlington. That's.
Oh my God, that person should be fired on the spot.
Should have been. One resigned, I understand. But the point is, how do you let this go on so long?
For years.
Yeah, this is a disappointment about it. It's almost like that it's an attitude of everything is so important on national politics right now.
Oh gosh, yes.
I noticed the president, as I went by television today, was in Florida, but he also had some military people behind him, which is, so apparently Flag Day was yesterday. No, and I haven't seen anything or anybody mention Flag Day.
No, I haven't either.
But I was traveling in Virginia Saturday, and there was one large flag at half-mast. We were trying to figure, wonder what it's for.
Yeah.
It was at a dealership, so I don't know why, whether it was a mistake or they were doing it for Flag Day.
I'm just told by the studio we have 5 minutes.
Good. Well, you know what I'd like for you, let's talk about, John, our community television.
Oh, okay.
We have got to emphasize more that what we're doing here in this studio is for the community.
Right.
And we've got to get back to that in a way that everyone in this city of Bowie knows this facility is available.
Yep.
There's producers. We're looking for qualified producers. John and I serve on the board.
Yeah, but let's emphasize a qualified producer.
Qualified.
That's not, you know, you don't have to be somebody from Law and Order.
That's right.
Just somebody with an interest in this. We can teach them, or not me, our skilled technicians can teach them. George has volunteered to help people. Mm-hmm. The help is here. Mm-hmm. And if anybody wants to try to do a show, as you can see by us, you don't have to be startlingly talented. I wish they would come forward. We need publicity on this. We really do. This is a resource that we have to use, since right. the printed media is not exactly up to what it used to be. I mean, it's okay, but it's not what it used to be.
No.
And more, you're getting people starting blogs, like Michael Ruck's blog at Maryland Living. Mm-hmm. That thing is fantastic. I got more out of that blog than I got out of both papers last week.
Sure. Well, see, that show's coming up again. I think it's being played again tonight, this week.
It's being played all this week and through next Thursday.
Right. We're on the 14th of June. So this week, it'll be on the next week, too.
Yeah.
And that's worthwhile looking into on Channel 11.
And people with hobbies, the 11 or 77, you have hobbies, you know, come on, give us a call, come on, demonstrate it. There's help available. It's not as difficult as people. I think people are just shy and they don't think that they can do it, but that's not true. There are some programs I watch on Sundays, you know, that anybody could do.
Well, and you know,
that was sarcasm, by the way.
Right. Yes. There's certain criteria that has to be done, and we can't accept everyone that has an interest.
No, not everyone.
And consequently, the most important thing, I think, is something that has the community interest in mind,
yep.
not their personality.
No, community interest.
Yeah, I've been doing this
not self-promoting advertisements for their business, nothing like that. If you have a hobby, an interesting hobby, if you're interested in politics, you're interested in literature, you're interested in gemology, whatever, give it a try. You don't have to do one every week. We can schedule it what, from one a month?
One a month is a minimum sort of thing to be a producer.
Yeah.
And it usually runs for 5 days, sometimes 6. And the important thing, I believe, is there's a lot of people out there that would like to do things that are creative. And you know, I've been doing this thing over 20 years, John, and I never, ever advertised my own personal business interest. Never.
Okay.
And even when I ran for an office, I didn't do my program for 90 days.
That was very noble.
Now, this is sort of the criteria and the standard we establish on your wrap.
Yeah, on the wrap, just please get a hold of us. The address, the email address is on the little thing after the show. Bert's on Facebook, and you can get him there.
And Agatha, you can even.
On Agatha, you can get a hold of her. But it's on here. And if you call City Hall, call the studio, Jim or Tom will be happy to help you out. We want to really get this going. So on those words, thank you very, very much for tuning in. And we'll see you next week with one of our most distinguished lady businesswomen.
Yes, Debbie Risher.
Debbie Risher will be on.
An old name and
an old community, Herring Risher.
Yes.
The Herring name is well known. Barbara's on Facebook, Barbara Herring, her mother.
Oh.
So with that, good night and thank you.